Dude, check out this view. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon.
Turn up, let's go.
One thing that's really cool about this is that it's not only a private tram, but it's like we're gonna get to step on the steps as well.
My group, let's give a big round of applause to my awesome buddy Nick. Yay! Hi Nick. And the man of the hour, he is driving us around the studio lot. Yeah, we can't do it without him. Let's hear it. Big round of applause. Even bigger round of applause for our amazing driver, Steve.
Steve!
Appreciate you. Steve is amazing. We're one of the largest studios in the world, especially here in the States, and we're so happy to be able to do this for you today. We are in the theme park, and now, just like that, we're in the studio. We crossed the line. We're in the studio, one of the largest studios and one of the oldest studios. We've been making movies here since 1915. March 15th was our official grand opening. And it was all started by a man named Carl Lindley. He started here, he actually came here as an immigrant in the late 1800s from Germany, decided to purchase 200 acres of land after living here for a few years, and wanted to get into the filmmaking business. And it was fresh and new technology then. We're nearly double that now, again almost 400 acres, but he wanted this to be a place solely dedicated for movie making, and he called this Universal City, the strangest city in the world. Believe it or not, this is not a set, this is a real Fire Station 51. Also paying homage to a show called Emergency, which has the same name, that show as well. We have that running theme with our Fire Station 51. If you see the show Friends, Phoebe, she burns down the apartment, and guess who comes to save the day? Me! No, it's Fire Station 51. Also, we have our own police department, gas station here, cleaners, we have our own gym, zip code. And Nick and I, we're going to be switching back and forth throughout the studio tour. So him and I, we're going to be mentioning shows from not just NBC, but other companies like Netflix, Paramount, Disney, Warner Brothers. We collaborate nowadays, so we rent each other's facilities. In fact, this is one big rental facility, so just keep that in mind. One here on your left, that soundstage is the largest here on the studio lot, built back in 1929. That's 28,000 square feet in there. We built a lot of sets from back in the day. The Castle of Dracula, the Lab of Frankenstein, Tony Montana's mansion was built in there, the Welcome Center from Jurassic Park built inside of that stage. So we build our sets inside of stages so we have more control for filming purposes. So when you're watching, let's say, a sitcom, again like Friends, and you see them in their apartment, most likely they're not in a real apartment, they're in a soundstage. And we want to control what you see, what you hear. This is also what we call London Square. So seen as different countries around the world, but yeah, seen as London. If you've seen Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agent Carter. Also seen here in Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, with Jason Statham, Dwayne Johnson. So what we do is we just decorate these buildings, but these are not even real buildings, guys. These are just facades. They're just false fronts. Nothing technically on the inside. They're not built for code for these buildings. So we'll just use them for, again, the exterior scenes, showing the actors walking up and down the streets of the metropolitan sets. And the materials to make these buildings are not real brick and not real stone. They're made out of three major materials: plaster, plastic, plywood materials, easily to replace from one production to the next. Get the Lyric Theater to your right-hand side, used in Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. The importance of being earnest. Mary Jane was doing a play down there. The white building across from it is where Doc Ock threw a car right in the middle of the window where he was having a coffee with Mary Jane, with Peter Parker. But we're going to go from the concrete jungle into the actual jungle. Welcome to Skull Island. Graffiti. That's the Ford Deuce Coupe there, used in the movie. The driven by Paul and Matt against Harrison Ford. The rides here from Back to the Future 1 and 2. Also the Flintstones. One of our biggest franchises, Fast and the Furious, X10 Already, trailer already in theaters. Or Fast X. What did I say, X10? Do when we need it. Welcome to Old Mexico. We're going to show you how we do that now. Weather effects done for many decades in the same way. We use strobe lights for lightning, speakers for thunder, and it's starting right now.
So sick.
Alright, let's see how much rain we get. So very simple, we just use sprinklers that are positioned above the camera. You'll never see them because they're outside the frame. Really hard to film. It doesn't appear very well especially if you're watching it during a football game, rain, and you hear the announcer talk. Yeah, Steve, I think we should probably, whoa. Flash flood.
Just a moment. So it looks like nice and new here. We're doing some work in here recently. Alright, welcome to Little Europe. Kind of as Jermaine was talking about earlier about the metropolitan sets, they can be any big city or small town, whatever we need. This kind of doubles as Europe over and over again. Anytime that you see Europe on TV especially, this is Europe a lot of the time. But this has actually been here a lot longer than that. We opened this back in the, let's say it's the early 40s. We actually, the very first Best Picture that Universal ever won was for a movie called All Quiet on the Western Front. There was a Netflix version that came out this last year that was nominated for Best Picture, but ours won. Back in the 30s, so ours is better. But in that movie, these sets were used as both France and Germany. And the only way they did anything to change anything, to let you know you're in a different country, was they changed the language on the signs. That's it. It was black and white. We didn't even have to use paint. It's leftover from The Good Place as well. It was Flower Alley on that show. But if we wanted to change it, like I mentioned, paint easy. We're doing like an old horror movie. Paint this darker colors, gray. Instantly kind of changes the vibe in here. Set dressing, yes, they're not wrong. Set dressing.
I actually recognize that fountain from The Good Place as well.
So not just The Good Place, that is kind of a bigger show that's been that happened out here a few years ago. This area down here where the trolley's coming up, this is gonna turn. We're not. Nothing will come this way. But the main strip here that Steve's driving away with our belongings on, no, he's gonna meet us around the corner. They used this in Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement. This was Genovia, the whole area was the fake country of Genovia. Actually right over here, the Muppets filmed over here. This was Paris. Miss Piggy and Kermit have a little date right here. And this is supposed to be, Paris, France. The main street they've used for a running of the bulls in Spain several times. The first time they did it was for City Slickers, the opening to City Slickers with Billy Crystal. They actually used real bulls. And one of the bulls broke free from the pen and crashed into the regular studio tour. And everybody on board cheered because they thought it was part of the tour. They had just saw King Kong and a flash flood and all that stuff, so they were like, yay! Nobody was hurt. A few years later, they filmed another running of the bulls, Night and Day with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz. Same street, everything. The only difference was CGI bulls. If you look up behind the scene photos, there's just a guy in a green suit holding a green bullhead running down the street. That's it. A little bit safer that way. The Rock, Dwayne "Rock" Johnson. But they also use some of this as the Middle East in You Don't Mess with the Zohan with Adam Sandler. Jarhead with Jake Gyllenhaal filmed in here as well. Actually, some of this is left over from that. So this is kind of like a blank canvas, so we can change it however we want. And you see how all the walls are different colors too? That is by design. If we're gonna film a movie with a giant bazaar scene or something, a marketplace, you change the walls and we just spin the camera around it. Like you think you're on the other side of the bazaar, but really it's like there's a greenish wall and there's a beige one, flip the camera around, nobody would know the difference. So we can utilize those sets this way as well. classic horror movies. Most of them shot in this area, throughout the area as well, but this looks almost the same as it did back then. A few changes here and there, but the first time we see Frankenstein actually through this big archway over here. And those actually put us on the map back in the 30s. During the Great Depression, a lot of companies sold huge chunks of the land they had, but we took a gamble on Dracula. It was a public domain book that we turned into a script, so we saved a little bit of money that way, and it actually took off. Frankenstein, even a bigger hit. So we made all those kind of classic horror movies that people remember, filmed them all right. It's a little bit storybooky right now. They've left it over from things like The Good Place and Cinderella from the 90s, filmed out here with Brandy, with Houston. Did I nail all your favorites?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, good. Also, for my Good Place fans, get a couple of shots of the railway station here before we go back.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It was like somewhere around the 20th, 30th episodes. For anyone who loves A Good Place, now I could brag and say that I've been on the set. Train station, right there, from The Good Place.
This is a lot easier to film any sort of transit scene to go out in the real world. If you go to New York and shut down a subway, people would be upset. So we can easily here change this to be any kind of subway or tube system in the world. It's San Francisco currently, but we can easily change those signs to be New York Airways. Alright, that's alright everybody. We can change to California sometime. Okay, hold on everybody. Alright, we'll be fine as long as the roof doesn't cave in or anything. Oh no. Everything resets in actually under 45 seconds, really quick, so the next train can come in. Troubles, but if you see over here, Jermaine came out here this morning and caught the shark. He's quite the angler.
Jermaine!
Wow. Yeah, he's very strong. Look how big that thing is. Oh. Okay, well, he caught a shark, it looks like. Yeah. Well, this should be fine. Nobody's gonna be out here swimming this part of the day. Oh, come on. I ain't getting that one. Alright, fight back. Punch him in the nose. I heard that works. Well, he's not okay, so we're gonna go. We'll just hide behind the dock here. These large barrels of gasoline, that's what I say. Actually, speaking of docks, something's taking part of the dock back there away. Okay, this isn't all bad. Have I got eyes on that shark? One more time. Let's do one more of that. There it is. Everybody keep it going for Bruce, our shark. Yeah.
Woo!
Now Bruce, the shark from Jaws. Does anybody know what kind of shark that is? Gray white? It's a good guess. No, that's a gray white. You nailed it. Bruce, though, is the name of our shark.
The same name that Steven Spielberg gave his shark on the filming of Jaws, named after his lawyer, Bruce Raymer. Now, we can see Bruce resetting himself to go again. Our Bruce works really well. Jumps out of the water on cue, really takes a bite out of the diver. The original shark while filming worked terribly. The very first day of filming, they never tested the mechanics of salt water. Everything instantly corroded and sank to the bottom of the ocean. Pushed the movie back filming more than 100 days. Boo Radley sounds good. John from Garfield lived down there. Eric Bana's Hulk movie filmed down there. And then to our right, this big white house is known as Miss Mona's Chicken Ranch from the best little whorehouse in Texas, Dolly Parton. It's also used in House of a Thousand Corpses by Rob Zombie, the original Quantum Leap, Beethoven's Fifth, tons of TV shows. And now in just a moment, you're going to get a little glimpse of Colonial Street to your left. Okay, first one coming up, see this green minis from Mr. Bean's Holiday, Ronak is it. Our pal Bumblebee, Transformers untransformed. Right next to the Decepticon, that's Barricade. And then in the back there, the Smith's Piano Service is from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, George Clooney. Dominic Toretto's Black Charger, of course, right up front from every Fast and Furious movie. The black police car in the back is from Public Enemies with Johnny Depp. And then the rest of these cars are all from different Fast movies. Too Fast, Fast 7, or sorry, Furious 7, Fast 9, all this stuff. So many cars. I know some people are visiting from out of town. If anyone needs any last minute accommodations, there's this little motel right around the corner. Can't recommend it enough. I want to welcome everyone to the Bates Motel, everybody. The showers here are killer. Oh, there's Norman, the proprietor. Let's see what he's up to today. Now Norman's a friendly guy, a little weird. Kind of a mama's boy, but that's okay. Helping that tired woman to her car. What a sweetheart. Okay, he was putting her in the trunk. That's probably not great. Hey, Norman. What's up, pal? What are you up to today? Got a knife. He's got a knife. We should go. We got a... here he comes.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Wave goodbye to our resident psycho, everybody. Norman Bates. Is the original Psycho house from the 1960 classic, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, starring Anthony Perkins. If you're on the left side, take a look in the top left window as we pass by. You might see Norman's mother up there. It's a different type of disaster area. This is the War of the Worlds crash site set. This was all put together for the 2005 movie War of the Worlds, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Tom Cruise, Dakota Fanning, Tim Robbins. And this is not, I mean, it's a set, but it's a real set. This is a real 747. We bought this from a plane graveyard out in the Mojave Desert. Planes can no longer fly. They kind of just let them sit, rot out in the open sun. But we bought this one, we saved it for a minute, cut it up in these big pieces, brought it over here. Now the scrap metal was about 60 grand just to buy it outright. And then it cost us about $250,000 to move it over here. Yeah, no Amazon Prime for old planes. So newest edition from Jordan Peele's Nope.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible mission and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Pike, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky G. Over there, look into the winking room and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Show. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Why? A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience, built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy, gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret.
Young girl, and it's about the H.G. Wells novel, War of the Worlds, where Martians take over Earth. This is Steven Spielberg's take on the film, or on the story. Come up here, we'll get a closer look of the airplane. As Nick mentioned, this is an actual airplane, 747, from the Mojave Desert. So there's an airplane graveyard site down there. So every few million miles or so, we have to retire airplanes anyway. But this is an older airplane. You'll notice the cigarette ashtrays on the armrests, if you look up here. Also, another thing that you'll notice from this airplane to current ones that we right now, legroom. Lots of legroom. Come on up further up here. You'll even see the steel beams that are keeping the pieces of the airplane propped up, so you can see the seats better on the other side. But you'll never see them because most likely the camera's going to be facing this way. Now the shipping cost was much more than the airplane cost. The airplane itself was again about $60,000, but the shipping cost was over $200,000. So instead of shipping it back and spending another $200,000, we decided to keep this for the studio tour after we asked Steven Spielberg. This is a Paramount production, not Universal. So we used it for the studio tour as long as we keep this associated for War of the Worlds for 5 years. So from 2005 to 2010, no other filmmaker could use this airplane. Again, so that when you see it, you know exactly what the airplane was used in as far as the film. If you want a photo, up here is the perfect spot to take it right here in the middle of these two pieces. And again, this is all set decoration. Nothing actually crashed. The airplane never was seen crashing in the movie, but you assume it did, so your imagination fills in what we don't show you on screen, because sometimes that can be much more effective. What's in your own imagination, right? Your own head. Now, if you need help with a photo, just let me or Nick know. We'll be more than happy to help you out with pictures. But yeah, if you want to stand right here.
Guys, can you believe it?
We gotta climb up this thing.
Yeah, those are all.
You looking at that belt drive right there? Yeah. Same exact engine as that Cougar?
Come, let's get some pics. K-Bob, you were supposed to be the mechanical expert. What happened?
I may or may not have tripped on the control panel.
It's actually pretty cool when you get to see like the inside of. Wait, what?
Don't be alarmed if you hear like sound effects or like because it gets activated by the train. So we'll see smoke machine. Yeah, just like that.
Ah. Oh, dude, we're going here.
No. Oh my gosh, no, check this out. Luggage compartment, right there. Coach, and then on top you're seeing first class. That's actually pretty cool.
We had to remove the tail end there and then weld it back once we brought it in on the trucks.
That's pretty sick. Are most of these effects done for the studio tour, or is there another purpose for them?
Say that again?
Are these effects done just for the studio tour, or
Yes.
is there another?
Yes, the sound effects and the smoke machines. Correct.
No offense, but
We deserve to feel special about this.
Warner Brothers is over to your right. You'll see it just a second here. There it is. There you go. A lot of cool stuff over there. Their studio is about half the size of ours. Warner Brothers building. That is one of the tallest sound stages in the world. One of my favorite movies, Goonies, filmed in there. The part with the pirate ship was in that sound stage.
No way.
And then right behind the Warner Brothers is Disney and ABC studios back there, the animation buildings and things as well. The original buildings that Walt Disney paid for and stuff back then. He paid for it, but he had the building. Now when we hop off, we'll open up this ice chest one last time, get some water, stay hydrated. And then if you have any garbage of any kind, empties, bring all that stuff with us. There's a garbage can right off the vehicle. it's always a pleasure. Jermaine's group. Have fun with Jermaine the rest of the day. You're in almost the best hands possible.
Second best, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, we know. Okay, Bob, be real. We know who the best. We know who the best hands are. Wink, wink.
All right, in my group, right off the steps down the
Just
steps
be-
here. We'll.
Just be clear, I mean gods. Guys, how did you think the tour was?
It's terrible. Plane crashed.
You caused it to crash. You and
We were in danger.
I mean, I get it, I sneezed, but still.
We were put in harm's way.
I mean, I guess it's my fault. I recorded none of the plane crashing. How would I know who to blame?
We were put in harm's way thanks to you.
Oh, come on, Isaac. What did you do? You did nothing. You did nothing the entire time, and it's because of you the plane crashed.
Planned all of this.
Shut up.